Plaintiffs Patricia Brown and her son Tony say after they became homeless in 2018, the defendant agreed to take care of their cat until they got on their feet. However, they're suing because once they got their own place, the defendant refused to return their cat. Defendant Valerie Richards says she is here today to advocate for the cat in question. Valerie claims in the 4 years she had the cat, the plaintiffs only visited her twice, so she feels entitled to keep the cat. She's countersuing for pet care costs.
Start with you all.
In November 9th, 2018, on my birthday, me and my mother, Patricia, we were evicted due to a slum landlord from our place of residence. From then, it took a downward turn. We stayed on the streets.
For how long?
For 3 days. It was 2 days, and the third night we had to call the police because it started raining. So they're taking us to the.
How long? That was in 18? For 3 days?
For 3 days.
Okay, why do you think your son is so broken up over that?
Because it hurts to come here and stay on the street.
And it was like more than 3 days.
Oh, okay. That's
yeah. I had to we had nowhere to go. Family want to help us. We had to. I had to say I'm sick just so we could stay. Get out the cold. Hospital, getting stuck in my arm almost every day.
And you all were in what city?
Chicago.
Okay. Was it winter time or something?
Yeah.
Ma'am?
Winter. And
Okay.
we began to go to the
You didn't have
farm.
a church home or anything back then?
We do.
Back then?
Yes,
You did?
we did.
Did you appeal to the pastor or the church members so that you wouldn't
Well, a few of them, they tried to help us, get an apartment by the time.
No, I'm saying when you were on the street for 3 days, did you appeal to them then?
Right. And one hospital, one lady go to our church. She was a nurse there. She did come to our rescue.
How?
Put us in the hotel about 3 days and gave us money to spend.
Which night was that? After you had been on the street how long?
Yes, 3 days.
You had already been on the street 3 days. Then a nurse from the church came
Yeah,
and provided.
we had called her, yes.
Okay, you called her?
Yes.
Never called your pastor?
No, I didn't, because
Church
sometimes it's kind of
itself?
hard to get with him.
Oh, it's hard to get to your pastor.
Sometimes, yeah.
Who was that pastor?
Bishop Horace E. Smith, Apostolic Faith Church.
PAW, right?
Yeah.
Pentecostal Assemblies of the World. He's a physician.
Right.
Yes.
And he used to be international president
Right. Yeah.
before Bishop Chuck Ellis replaced him.
Yes, yeah.
All right. Well, he's a good man. So, yeah, I would see how, because you all have a very large congregation. And so I understand that, but I was just asking because I think that's where folks should turn. If they have a church home, they should turn to their church in their worst times. All right, and that was in 2018. How have things gone since then?
Okay, so after, the lady sister from the church put me and my mother in a motel. We had to leave because we didn't have any more money, to keep up the rooms. So we were back on the street, hospital again. So my mother got fed up. We went to a shelter. That shelter.
Why didn't you try the first night or the second night or the third night?
Yeah, people steal in the shelters, people get raped, people robbed in the shelters. And all
More
of
than
that.
on the street?
To be honest, I was scared. And I
Scared to be in the shelter? You felt better on the street? Felt safer on the street of Chicago as opposed to inside of a shelter?
Never been to a shelter. It's just scared me about, what people told us about it. So
They didn't tell you it was worse outside?
people steal in the shelters, people get raped, people robbed in the shelters. And all
More
of
than
that.
on the street?
To be honest, I was scared. Never been to a shelter. It's just scared me about, what people told us about it. So
They didn't tell you it was worse outside?
Plaintiffs Patricia Brown and her son Tony say the defendant agreed to care for their cat until they got on their feet. But now she refuses to return her, so they're suing.
Ma'am, what do you want to say?
Yeah, and so as we went to the shelter, we had our cat named Miracle. One of his co-workers had volunteered to keep Miracle for he came about 3.5 weeks. We paid him. And so he couldn't keep it no more. So we put the advertisement on Facebook. So then that's when
To do what?
we put
Put it advertising asking what?
Could anyone available to keep our cat Miracle? We would pay them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you say how long on the advertising?
I just said as we talked, I would have told them. But that's when the guy that kept him first knew Miss Richard. Mm-hmm. And he told her about it. So she volunteered to keep our cat.
Mm-hmm. How long?
She said until we found an apartment.
Okay, and how long did that take?
Well, we had one apartment was in for,
When did you get one?
we got one like 4 months ago. We was in a program in the shelter. They had given us a apartment to look at.
Hold on, man.
They gave us a
So
apartment.
hold on, man. It's been 4 years, you telling me?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay. When we went to the shelter, the guy kept Miracle, I kept for 3 weeks. So we paid him. So he could no longer keep the cat. So my son Tony put the advertisement back on Facebook, see who would be able to keep her. So Miss Richard, she
How,
responded
did
to
it say how long?
well, at the time, I didn't say how long on the Facebook. I didn't say how long. But as she taking the cat in, she told us, whenever you get an apartment, you get your cat back. So I did that. I kept responding to her. We did pay her some money in cash. We get no receipt because we trusted her.
How much you pay her?
One time we paid 50, one time 100, another time was a 50. And then I asked her
$200 for 4 years? Go ahead.
No, I asked her how
You mean
long.
you said no what?
No, I had
I
asked
said
her.
no. I said $200 for 4 years, and you said no.
No, we was giving her some more money.
Okay,
But
how
we
much
couldn't
more?
get in touch with her. She wasn't responding. We tried to call her.
Okay. So for 4 years, she never responded?
She responded. We told her we're going to come to the house. Every time said we're going to come to the house, she has a funeral to go to, or she going to be out of town, or she won't be home.
Okay, let me hear from you. Get some background from you, ma'am.
Actually, Your Honor, I'm here to advocate for the cat. I am a pet lover to my heart. I wanted to be a vet, and then I ended up going to the University of Illinois in Champaign. I majored in electrical engineering with the minor in biology, with the plans of being a vet or a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually went down there. I was on an Air Force ROTC scholarship for 2 years, paying for my electrical engineering degree. Then I did something dumb. I gave up my commission, but I still graduated.
Good.
I was salutatorian of my high school class.
Good.
And the lady and I that were number 1 and number 2, valedictorian and salutatorian, we both
No, I was
attended.
talking about college, right?
Yeah, we both graduated. And in the 6
From
years...
University of Illinois.
University of Illinois in Champaign, number 2 electrical engineering school in the nation.
Great
In the
school.
6 years that we were there, we were the only 2 African-American females to graduate. So we're really proud of that.
Yeah, you should be.
And
That's
I
one of the
ended up,
toughest you could pursue.
it's really hard. It's a 5-year program. It took us 6 years to graduate. She went on to the Peace Corps, and I went to working for General Motors in Flint, Michigan.
Okay, and so tell me about how you know the plaintiffs.
Well, I met them through a mutual friend, and he was the one who actually contacted me.
Your friend, the mutual friend.
Yes, about keeping the cat.
In November of 2018?
In November of 2018.
Okay.
And they brought the cat sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas in 2018. They told me that they had gotten evicted. They said that their landlord was a slum landlord and that he didn't fix some things. And because he wasn't fixing things, they stopped paying the rent. And I was like, well, that's not really that smart, because if you're not paying the rent, the landlord is going to evict you because you're not paying the rent. The best thing for them to do would have been to like pay the rent to the city or call the city on him, pay the rent, and then they wouldn't have got evicted. And then they told me that the landlord was actually a member of their church. And when they got to court, he was like, forget it.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
trustee.
So,
Leader in the church. Go ahead.
so
Trustee.
I was very,
Put you out.
Shouldn't be trusted.
The trustee shouldn't be trusted. Go ahead. That trustee.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
so I ended up getting the cat, and at the
They
time,
asked. Who asked?
Roosevelt asked.
And what did he say?
He said that he was keeping the cat for Tony, and that he had gotten caught by his landlord and he wasn't supposed to have a cat. And he said, "Can you keep it?" And I said, "How long do you think it's going
Right.
to be?" And he said, "For a couple months." And I said, "Sure." I said, "I love animals." I said, "I do have 2 dogs. My dogs haven't been around a cat, but it should be okay because I always heard that the cats would win the fight."
Okay. And what happened during that time? And thereafter, they said they gave you money and continuously reached out to you.
They came by twice, and when they came by, I think
Twice in 4 years?
in 4 years.
Is that true?
No.
How many times?
Say
It was about 4 times. It was gonna come some more, but she said she wouldn't be at home.
So yeah, they would text or call like every 3 months or so, up until about 2 years, like when
Every
COVID
3
started.
months?
Yeah, every 3 months,
Saying what?
saying that they would be getting a place soon. They actually had told me 5 times that they were coming to get Miracle and that they had a place.
When was the first time they told you that?
The first time they told me
What year?
was in 2019.
Plaintiffs Patricia Brown and her son Tony say the defendant agreed to care for their cat until they got on their feet. But now she refuses to return her, so they're suing.
They said they've been trying to visit and you haven't made yourself available. As
well-
if to say that you're dodging them because you want to keep their cat.
I actually would send them pictures. I didn't want them to come to the house if they weren't going to pick up the cat because of COVID. My dad is 84 years old, and I take care of my dad who's 84
year
and
was
my
that?
aunt who's 87.
What year was that? When did they ask during COVID?
It was 2020,
And that
like
was the-
December.
Okay, that
of
was the only time
2020.
they asked?
That's the only time that they asked maybe a couple other times other than that.
What year?
Once in like January of 2021, I believe.
Did they ever ask before the pandemic, because that's what you're putting it on, did they ever ask before the pandemic to come and see their cat?
Yes, and I allowed them to come. That's the 2 times that they did come. Other
Those were
than
the
that,
only 2 times they asked
Yes.
prior to the pandemic.
that I can recall, yes.
What do you have to show that you asked more than twice prior to the pandemic?
Let me see. Okay. You can go to page 3. Page 4. Page 7.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Page 7, you said?
Yeah. July 4th.
Yeah, on page 7, you're saying, I didn't know it was going to take this long to find an apartment. I do see that.
Right.
But I do see where you say, when can we see Miracle? When you ask in 18, you ask in 19, then you ask even the question mark, what's wrong? She does indicate that she has a busy schedule. At one time at a funeral, another one, I might be free Sunday. Where's Miracle now? We're ready to get her now. This is in 22. So I have no communication between July 19th and August of 22. So what happened between those years? Because you didn't communicate with her.
Right between them years, we drop out contact.
I know, why?
How to ask her, I don't know why. We tried to.
No, you. It was your cat.
Right.
You wanted your cat back. Okay, no, I'm sorry. You want me to ask her?
No.
Yeah, all right. You believe the cat is yours? He want me to ask you. You want to talk slick to me? Ask her. What you believe?
I never really thought they were going to come back to get the cat. I've
All
had
right,
the
and it
cat-
took 4 years.
Yes.
That's called abandonment. I asked her. Have a good day. Judgment for the counterclaimant. Yours is dismissed. You abandoned that cat for 4 years. I asked you to explain. You said ask her. I asked her. She explained. She convinced me. Have a good day.
Thank you, Honor. I just never really thought that Miracle would be in my care for that long. It's kind of it's a disheartening situation, but Miracle is actually, she's bonded with my dad, she's bonded with my dogs.
But we're bonded with her also. That's part of our family.
Right, that's our cat, so you're just going to keep her?
We need our cat back. I need my cat.
Right, part of our family. Well, somebody took your dogs. How would you feel about that?
Well, I never would have left my dogs with somebody for 4 years.
Okay.
No matter what,
well,
my
you know our
dogs
situation.
slept with me.
All right, you know what? Well, where's Miracle at? You going to keep her or what?